In this demonstration, we'll be showing the 2020 Construction Cloud budgeting tool. As we look at how we create and manage project budgets, I also want to take the time to point out some of the other features that not only applies to how we view and analyze project budgets, but also to all the other inquiry reports inside of 2020 Construction Cloud. To start off, let's create a new job to work with. So we do that here by clicking on the Create button at the top. Now, if you've seen any of the 2020 Construction Cloud videos, this should look familiar to you. If not, I'll give you a quick overview here of the forms and their layout. And let's start off by giving this project a name here. We'll just call it the Acme Warehouse. And when we tab over, it's automatically going to give it a job name as we have specified in our job settings. You can see that we also have the ability to apply a parent project if this were a sub job of some other job, and that again is defined within the job settings and the company settings of the 2020 Construction Cloud. Just to kind of talk about the layout here of the form, along the top we have the project status bar, and that shows what stage the project is in. You know, when we create a first job here from scratch, it's obviously going to be into draft mode. This is all customizable as well. Just below that, we have the bar for smart buttons. Now, these give us quick access to important project information such as RFIs, drawings, specifications, and cost analysis. And the cost analysis is really where we're going to be spending most of our time in this video. The main body of this form is where we can enter all the important project details that pertain to this job. We can go through and we can enter who our customer is. We'll define one here, Jeff Bezos from Amazon. We'll go and put in an address for our job. Put in our city, state, and zip. Say this is in Gilbert, Arizona. 85297, and you can see that it uses Google Maps to go out and show us a map of the location of this job. We can also put in our project manager, and this is going to pull from our contact database, salesperson, bid date, and some other important related dates here. And down at the bottom, we have a series of tabs that give us access to other project related information, such as at the top here, job contacts. So we can go in and add in as many related job contacts as we want. And again, we have these filter criteria, so if we want to add in anybody here, we can just simply select them. We can add in companies, or we can add in individuals to companies. So if I select these two, one company here and one individual of a company, and hit select, it will pull that information into this project screen, as well as what trade they belong to, any pertinent contact information as well. We also can keep track of the prime contract that's associated with this job, any billing that may have be associated, estimate. We also are keeping track of commitments, so all the purchase orders and subcontracts that have been created will be visible right here under these tabs. And then of course the job settings. If we scroll through here, we'll notice that in this particular job, we have some approvals that are required. We have it set up to approve and route invoices, approve and route purchase orders, and subcontracts. So if I were to save this right now, and I'll just do that, you'll see that a big error pops up saying that these fields that are required have not been completed. So I'm going to turn these approvals off for this particular demonstration and go ahead and hit save. And there we go. So now we have the job has been created. We don't have a budget associated with this project at this time. And we do that a couple of different ways, but one of the easiest and most obvious ways is by the cost analysis button here. So we're going to click on the smart button, and we can enter in our accounts for our budget one of two ways. We can either click the create and manually enter in the details for all of the budget accounts. We probably only want to do that if we have a couple of accounts we need to enter for a job. Typically, there's going to be quite a few accounts related to these project budgets. So we'll want to do that using our import budget tool. And I have one set up, so we'll click on the import button here, and we can choose our spreadsheet file, which is either a CSV or an Excel spreadsheet. So I'm going to click this budget import sample and hit open. And that's going to pull the details of this Excel spreadsheet into the screen right here so that we can look at all of the columns that are associated in that spreadsheet. And at this point, if we haven't already created the mapping, we can go through and we can map these columns to different fields inside of our budget tool. Now we've created this mapping, so it does it all for us. And at this point, we would just hit the validate button, and it would go through and crunch all the numbers and just make sure that all of the data is correct. If there were anything missing, we would have some errors that we could resolve. This one is correct. I know it is because I've done it multiple times. And we'll hit the import button, and it will actually go through and crunch that and create all of these accounts for us. Okay, great. As you can see, the budget accounts have been successfully imported into the project. This is probably a good time to point out some of the features that apply to this inquiry report. These features not only apply to this particular report that we're looking at, but to all of the other inquiries and reports inside of the 2020 Construction Cloud. And let's start off by pointing out this top search filter, this criteria filter at the top. You can see that the first thing we have is we're filtering or grouping all of the accounts here by division. And that's what we have. So we have a little hierarchy showing all of the accounts grouped by the division that they pertain to. If we were to remove that, we'll see all the accounts that are not grouped. So we can go through and create our own custom groups, or we have some that we have built into the system. We want to group by job, by parent, division, WBS code, and whatnot. Now we also can go through and we can just search for specific information. So if I want to look for bleachers, I can just type in any part of that. Let's just type in BLE, and we can see here's two accounts that show up that have the word or have the letters BLE in them: telescoping, bleachers, labor, and material. So another great way for us to just quickly find the information that we want to work with and not having to worry about scrolling or drilling through information. One cool thing that I'd like to point out, let's group this by WBS code. When I imported this, I assigned all of these budget accounts to a WBS code, which is an area of the job, a work breakdown structure. And I purposely messed it up. So we can see that we have two locations here. We have the gymnasium and we have the site. And then we have general conditions. Well, I know that those general conditions should be associated with the gymnasium here. So I can open these accounts up and I can click the analytic account button at the top, which will select all those visible accounts, and then go to the action tool. And now I have the ability to do some bulk editing of all of those accounts. So instead of going in one at a time and putting in and making those changes, I'm just going to select our bulk editing tool here, and I'm going to go to the WBS code and I'm going to set that to the gymnasium and hit apply, and it will quickly go through and make those changes. The bulk editing tool is 100% customizable, so any fields that need to be edited or changed, we can make those changes and they would be visible right here just as we saw. So now let's take a look at the details of this budget here, and let's do so by removing all filters so that we can see all the budget accounts. You'll notice the first thing that stands out here is everything is blue. The blue color signifies that this budget is in an editable state. That means that we can go through and we can change the original budget values of any of these accounts in here. Now, we eventually want to lock that down so that we can't modify that original budget and we can let our system create accurate reports for us. We lock that down, obviously, by hitting the button up here that says lock. And when I lock that down, it's going to go through and lock down the original budget and change everything to black. So now I know that this budget has been locked, and the only way that we can make changes to the budget accounts is either through adjustments. You'll see here this second column, budget adjustments, or through change orders. So you can see that we have approved change orders and pending change orders and commitment change orders, and these change orders can also affect the budget accounts if we allow them access to do that. Let's take just a second and walk through how to make a budget account adjustment. To do that, super easy. All we need to do is select the account that we want to adjust. We'll select contingency here that has an original budget of $15,000, and we want to take $1,000 and put it into the closeout account. So we've selected this contingency account here. We're going to go through and transfer budget. We'll take $1,000, and you can see here that it's selected our contingency account. Our current budget is $15,000, and we're going to transfer $1,000 out to the closeout account, which has $0, but we'll end up with $1,000. Down below, we can add a note. We need more money, and hit transfer. And so what that's going to do now, you'll notice how our report has changed. Our original budget stays the same, 15 and 0, but now we have $1,000 taken out, which revises the budget to $14,000, and $1,000 added to our closeout account, which revises our budget to $1,000. Also, any approved change orders that have come in and affected these budget accounts would also change our revised budget, and any pending change orders then would also affect our projected budget. So those possibly could affect our budget numbers. So all of these columns here up until the projected budget are our budgeted numbers and all of the revenue associated with that. Moving through to the next couple of columns, we have our committed costs, our direct costs, our pending commitment change orders, and our projected costs, all related to our costs or our commitments. So our committed costs here, this is all of our subcontracts and our purchase orders. Our direct costs would be any costs that are associated to the job and have been associated to these accounts that aren't related to purchase orders or subcontracts, such as maybe direct payroll or general conditions or those type of things, and we would see the accumulated values in this direct costs column here. Pending commitment change orders would be those change orders going to affect the purchase orders or subcontracts, and then the sum of that would be our projected costs. We have our forecasted costs and cost at completion, and then our projected over and under. So you can see that it's very easy to create a new budget for a project. It's very easy to make adjustments to those, and we get some great details and some great data as far as what's going on our budgets and how our projects are being affected. So I hope that this video has been useful for you. Please check out our website or our YouTube channel for additional videos that can help you understand and learn more about the 2020 Construction Cloud.